I cannot recall a time in my life where men were more inclined to point the finger of blame at their neighbors, at their friends, at their family even, than we are inclined to do right now. In addition to that, I need not tell you that we continue to suffer from terrible inflation caused by the ongoing war. And I also need not tell you that we continue to suffer from the effects of the sickness that took root not only here in our city, but in our countryside as well. And yet, here we are, standing on board a newly minted vessel, is it not true, sir? The Commonwealth of Virginia, hardly a year old, really not even a year old is the thing, isn't it right? Just as Odysseus, I suppose, after the fall of Troy, standing on board his own vessel, looking out into the fog, hoping to find Ithaca, his home. But where is our home? How do we get there? Or really, I suppose, more to the point, how will we know it to see it? I made mention just a moment ago that I've held just about every elected office available by way of the jurisdictions of my house here in town and my family's property. And I say this to you not to bring praise upon myself, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the law of nature and of nature's God entitle them. A decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. They were endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That, to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. That when any form of government becomes destructive to these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it and institute new government, laying its foundations on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to effect their safety and happiness. These are familiar words, are they not?
Yes.
We see that with this particular passage from Matthew, for how often is it that men will read these words, all of the law and the prophets, and believe that Christ is speaking simply on the law of Moses. I should posit to you, my neighbors, my friends, I hope I'm not calling you friends. If we are speaking of the everlasting Christ, the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end, and the beginning was the Word, and the Word was He, and the Word was with He, if we are speaking of Christ our Lord, and He says all of the law, then damnation I am inclined to believe He means all of the law. And so is it not incumbent upon us here and now in this moment as we sit here in the new republic to acknowledge by the supreme law of all things, the law of nature, supplemented by our common law of revelation, that we should be caring for our neighbors?
Yes.
Yet further, I made mention just a moment ago, somewhat inadvertently, but we've done one further, is it not true? Done one better, as it were, in the formation of said republic. Place it now upon thousands of individual heads. Have we not discovered, my neighbors, my friends, that each of these new crowns bears the same weight as the original? It's the burden of the sovereign, yes? You've read Hobbes.
Yes.
Every man desires to be king.
Yes.
And yet, no man desires the burden of the king. A monarch who cares only for himself, yet not for the needs of his subjects. Tyrant? Despot?
Narcissist.
Wicked? Narcissist? Oh, I think so, yes. Evil? Self-seeking?
Yes.
So, what is it now, my neighbors, that we must think of ourselves? If we look round about the jurisdiction to see injustice upon our neighbors, yet choose to do nothing.
It's not right.
Mr. Wythe, I wasn't shuddering. I was going to say hard sayings, yes? Hard sayings on a chilly afternoon, but I confess to you, my neighbors, I can think it no breach of charity on our part that we be willing, bearing the sovereign crown, as has been stated, that we are willing not only to accept or acknowledge the benefits of the crown that we wear, but the responsibility of the thing as well. I don't have to tell you There are many men who would be very pleased to come upon this platform here, stand upon this bench even, and proclaim to all of you, even if you were strangers to him, that he has rights. Yet I beg to ask you the question, how many of these very same men would come upon this very same platform and step upon the very same bench and proclaim to all of you with the very same vigor for a political enemy? But is this not the business of the sovereign? How is it, my neighbors, that we may call this republic a place of liberty if the only liberty in which I am interested is my own? How is it, my neighbors, that we may call this a place of justice if we see injustice as the sovereign and do nothing to rectify? And Cincinnatus, famed for his virtue, was successful in his endeavor. But at the conclusion of his service, what did this virtuous man do? Did he hold the crown to benefit himself? To benefit his household? To benefit his family? To benefit his purse? Nay. He very famously, did he not, threw the crown from his head and returned to his plow. So if virtue yields fruit, let us consider the virtuous fruit of Cincinnatus. I believe in our modern day we tend to refer to that fruit as the glory of the Roman Republic. A system of government by which we have, at least to some degree, modeled our own. Is this not true? So now in juxtaposition, if not juxtaposition, perhaps opposition, madam, let us consider the name of another. If you don't know Cincinnatus, you most certainly know this one. Julius Caesar, who did indeed seek the crown to benefit himself, did he not? To benefit his household, to benefit his family, to benefit his purse. And he crossed the water, alea iacta est, the die is cast, and most assuredly it was. For that crown being placed upon his head could be removed by only an action that took place on the Ides of March in 44 BC. And yet, did not the ill-virtuous fruit continue to bear? I believe in our modern day we tend to refer to that fruit as the oppression of the Roman Empire. My neighbors, we stand now upon our own vessel, wherein we, being the sovereigns, may make the choice to guide this place into the next generation. But how is it that we may be willing to say that we love the Republic, while acknowledging that the virtue of caring for our neighbor is the foundation of the thing, yet we are unwilling to exhibit it for the next generation to see in the first place? This is the means by which, if we desire to see the Republic stand into the next generation, we must conduct ourselves now. The business of the sovereign is now. Is this not true?
Yes.
This is how we will guide the vessel. This is how we will avoid Scylla and Charybdis and the Isles of the Sirens and the Isle of Polyphemus and the Cyclopses. This, my neighbors, my friends, is how we will find Ithaca.
Go. You're here.
And we'll prove the Romans right one way or the other. A pluribus unum. From the many there is one. But be assured, my neighbors, there will be no unum. There will be no one. There will be no republic without first the choice of the sovereign. That's me. It's me. It's me. It's me. It's me. It must be, it can only be, it can only ever have been the choice of the sovereign. That's me.